Hey, how you doing? Hope you're having a lovely day so far. It has been a while for a skate video for me, which I'm gonna get into the reasoning for that here in a sec, but it is good to be back. In today's video, I'm gonna be teaching you everything I know about competitive skating. So unlike my previous videos where I was showing you about playing with style and trick lining, this video is going to be all about getting high scores and just getting those numbers as high as you possibly can in online spot battles. But real quick, before we get into that, I do have just a couple things to say to you guys really quick. So first up, the main reason I haven't been uploading skate videos in a few weeks, I actually quit playing Skate 3, like, just completely stopped. My reasoning for that is because I pretty much only played this game with friends, you know, in private lobbies. And all of my friends I played with kind of moved on from the game. All of them. It really sucked for me. So I had no choice but to play in public lobbies, and I kind of remembered why I stopped playing in public lobbies. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about if you play this game a lot. But public lobbies, you could spend 3 hours trying to play in like a campus skate lobby or a public spot battle somewhere, and 90% of the time you're just gonna get kicked, or every single player in the lobby leaves in the first 2 minutes of the game. It's ridiculous. I don't know why that is the main trend of the skate community, but it is what it is. I kind of just realized I should be using my time for other things. Because spending 3 hours trying to play skate online and getting maybe one full spot battle, you know, that's just, it sucks. It's literally a waste of the time I have in my life trying to do that. So I decided to move on. I no longer play this game in my free time in any capacity. I completely dropped it. And I've just been doing other things, you know, just kind of moving on from the game, leaving it behind me. I do still have a bunch of skate knowledge that I can share with you guys, however, and I'm feeling motivated today, where I can load up this game for a little bit and share some of that knowledge with you guys. So don't worry, I will still make a few skate tutorials on things that I would like to share, so it's not going to affect the channel too much. But just for me personally, I quit this game in my free time. I no longer play it. I have no interest in playing it. I told all of my friends who used to play this with me, like, hey, I'm retiring from this game, but if you ever want to play it with me, just hit me up with a message and I'll be there. Yeah, in other news for the channel, I have a huge project. I'm talking absolutely massive video I've been working on. It's going to be the best dang thing on this channel. I'm getting pretty excited. I'm starting to make some good progress on it, and I've been working on it for quite a while now. I'm hoping I should be able to finish it within maybe like 2-3 weeks here. So keep an eye out for that. It will contain Skate 3 footage. So I don't want to give you guys any spoilers, but it will be involving Skate 3 footage. And it's going to be funny as all hell. So make sure that you keep an eye out for that in the next few weeks here. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the competitive tutorial I have for you guys. As usual, for how my tutorials go, I'm going to start with what I think is the easiest, and as the steps go on, they're going to get gradually more difficult, and I'll try to teach them to you in the order I believe you should be learning them. So, Some of these steps you might already know. If so, you know, you can just kind of skim through them. But if you're completely new, you have no idea what you're sorry, little speech mess up there, but yeah, if you're completely new and you have no idea what you're doing when it comes to competitive skate, this is the video for you. This is going to be very detailed, step by step. Everything you should be learning in the order you should learn it in. Yeah, I guess the only thing I have left to say is I'm not a competitive skate player. I've always been a trick liner, you know, I've always prioritized style and just playing in a way that's fun over playing for points. But I do know how to play for points. It was actually the first thing I ever learned how to do before I got into trick lining. I learned how to do 2 tricking, and then from there I moved my way up to 3 tricking, and then ghost reverting. And then eventually I started messing with like popping, you know, trying to 5 pop. But I'm washed as all hell. I have the knowledge and I can teach you guys, but I myself, especially with me quitting skate recently, I'm going to be super washed and I'm not going to be good. So, I have the knowledge that I can share, I'm just not good at it. Okay, enough rambling. Let's go ahead and get into this tutorial. Alright, as usual, we're going to be starting at the Mega Park. This is just the best area in the game for learning basically anything. You've got lots of high gaps here, you can practice air tricks, a huge section for flat ground, and this is the most popular spot battle location. So if you're going to practice somewhere, you should probably practice here. The very, very basics, we're going to get into how to dart catch. Okay? Super simple. You're simply going to hold your right bumper, so you do this little animation. So you can see I'm holding right bumper right now. Now I'm letting go of it. Holding right bumper will cause you to enter a dart catch when you or a dart catch when you flick a trick. So for example, if I hold right bumper and I do a heel flip, it's a heel flip dart catch. Whereas I do a heel flip without holding right bumper, it is simply a regular heel flip. So you're going to hold right bumper, do a heel flip, then it'll enter the dart catch, and in the air, you can either press right bumper again to exit the dart catch, or you can flick your right stick in the motion of a heel flip, a kick flip, a nollie kick flip, a nollie heel flip. Just simply flick your thumbstick in a desired direction, whatever's comfortable for you, and that will also exit the dart catch. It'll even get you more points doing that, so if you can flick your stick to exit a dart catch, it's preferable to tapping right bumper. As you can see, I got more points when I flicked out there. So that is the absolute basics of what a dart catch is. Just make sure you practice that, get it down. Once again, I would recommend flicking out of a dart catch using the stick because you will get more points, but it is slightly more difficult. Alright, moving on to step 2 here. I'm going to actually turn on the trick analyzer for this. Let's go to on-screen help, enable trick analyzer. So now you can see, pretty self-explanatory. I do a trick and it'll show you how you move the stick and what trick you did in accordance with that. So the next thing I would practice is just get your flip tricks down. So 360 inwards, nollie tray flips, nollie hard flips, nollie laser. Literally just get down as many flip tricks as you possibly can. Because the more of these you know, the easier it's going to be to get high scores while you're doing competitive on flat. Because if you look here, if I'm just standing still, we'll do a regular heel flip, 22 points standing completely still, and let's do a 360 inward heel flip. 66 points. So you get more points for certain tricks. Let's say you do a 360 flip, which I suck at. I don't know why I picked the 360 flip. There we go. So that gets more points than a heel flip, but less points than a 360 inward heel flip. So certain tricks are good, but there are tricks that are just the top dogs. any of your 360 hard flips or 360 inwards are all going to get the most points out of any other tricks. The next ones that are closest to that are going to be your 360 flips or your laser flips. There we go. So your 360 hard flips and inwards are top dogs. Those get the most points. Your second ones, right below that, are going to be your 360 flips and your laser flips. So just practice getting those down, and once you're feeling confident with your flip tricks, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next step here. Alright, so our next step is actually going to involve a video I previously made. It's going to be about making sure to skate in fakey. So if you guys already know what skating for fakey is, if you've already seen my tutorial on that, you'll be good for this. If you don't, oh god, cloud gaming lag. Yeah, I have to record these on cloud gaming because I don't have a setup that can let me record Xbox gameplay. So occasionally I do get some lag spikes on cloud gaming. But if you aren't familiar with what skating fakey is, basically, right now I'm in normal, and let's say I do a 180. Now I'm in fakey. You can see my backside is pointing the direction of travel, and anytime you're in fakey, you will get more points for flip tricks. So preferably you want to stay in fakey the entire time you're doing competitive. A simple way to do this would be for your intro. Let's say you're doing Spot Battle Mega Park, you just spawn, you're gonna get on your board and just do a 180 in the air to enter fakey like so. You know, just something like that. Skating fakey is pretty important when it comes to competitive play. So if you haven't already watched my tutorial on how to do that and maintain it, I would take a break and go do that first, as it is definitely very important for the remainder of this video. So what we're going to go ahead and get into as your next step here is you want to do a dart catch, flick out of it, and land in a fakey nose manual. You can do a nose manual by holding your right thumbstick slightly up. You don't want to be touching the edge of your thumbstick barrier, otherwise it'll do that. It'll prep for a nollie trick. So hold your right stick up, but not all the way. You'll get in a nose manual. And you're going to simply do a 180 after your dart catch, and then hold your thumbstick slightly up to land in a nose manual. There we go, just like that. So far it should be pretty simple. I believe you do have this in the bag as of right now. Just doing your dart catch, landing in a fakey nose manual. Now, doing a 360 after that into another fakey nose manual is where this is gonna start to get slightly difficult. So those are the first few basic steps there for you. How to dart catch, what tricks you should be learning, and your entry to competitive here with the 180 into a fakey nose manual. Everything beyond this point is going to start to get a little more complicated, so just be prepared for it to take a drastic step up in difficulty here. Alright, so let's say you're doing competitive and you do your typical intro. 180 into a fakey nose manual after a dart catch. Where do you take it from here? Well, from here, you're going to do another dart catch with a 360 spin into another fakey nose manual. Now, I'll go ahead and demonstrate this, and then I'll explain how to do it afterwards. Just like that. So let's go ahead and unpack that and explain it for you guys. Alright, so the best way I can explain this is focus on the trick analyzer on the bottom of the screen there. So you see how it has the line that already divides it into two halves going horizontally through the middle? Imagine another line going vertically through the circle, so it divides it, instead of 2 halves, into 4 pieces, like a pizza. You have 4 slices of pizza there, 1 in each corner, top left, top right, bottom left. So, to do a 360 spin into another fakey nose manual. So, for example, let's say you want to spin to the left side. So you want to do a 360 spin to the left and land in another fakey nose manual on the left side. What you would want to do is do your dart catch, spin to the left using your left thumbstick, and just hold that to the left. Then using your right thumbstick, you're going to do this motion. Okay? You're going to do that thumbstick motion with your right thumbstick as you're spinning to the left. But instead of it carrying all the way down to that lower left section of the circle, you're going to stop it. So you're going to stop that motion in the top left section in the middle. So that top left slice of the pizza there, you're going to stop that motion in the middle of it. So let me go ahead and do that motion again so you can just get a visualization of it. You're going to stop that motion about halfway. So you're in the middle of that top left slice of the pizza. And you want to make sure you're not touching the edge of the thumbstick barrier. So it's like you're doing a nose manual, but you're doing your nose manual in the top left section of the pizza in the middle of that slice. So that is what you want to do with your right thumbstick while you're spinning to the left using your left thumbstick. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate this here. We're going to do our usual intro, dart catch into a 180 fakey nose manual. Now from this position, you're going to put everything I just told you into practice. So we're going to dart catch while we spin to the left. Either flick out of your dart catch using the right stick or tap RB, either one. Definitely tapping RB will be easier, but it will get you less points. And then, while you're spinning to the left, using your right thumbstick, once again, you're going to do this motion, and you're going to stop it in the middle of that top left slice of pizza, making sure to hold it in a way where you'll land in a nose manual, so slightly up. Alright, so now let's go ahead and put all of that into practice here. And it should look like that. Now obviously we're at like baby speed right now, so I will go ahead and do this going quickly for you. There you go. That's what it will look like if you do it going at max speed pretty much with a running start. Okay, so now, let's say it's the same exact thing, but you want to spin to the right. So once again, you're looking at the trick analyzer like it's divided into the 4 slices of pizza. You're going to spin to the right side using your left thumbstick, and then using your right thumbstick, you're going to do this motion. But you're going to stop it halfway in the middle of that top right slice of pizza. And you're going to make sure you hold it slightly up instead of all the way, so it'll land in a nose manual. So let's go ahead and give that a shot spinning to the right here. We'll do our usual intro once again. Alright, so we're in our position. So once again, we're going to do this thumbstick motion while we spin to the right, and then we're going to stop it halfway in that slice of pizza. Just like so. Alright, So that step is definitely a massive difficulty spike from the previous two. I completely understand if it's going to take you a while to get the hang of that, so feel free to take as much time as you need practicing that before you move forward in this tutorial. The next thing I'm going to show you is definitely easier than that, but it's actually going to take place after that step. So when you're doing competitive, this is going to be the last thing you do in your competitive line. So it takes place after all the previous steps, but it is a lot easier. Okay, I went ahead and I disabled the trick analyzer for this because it's just going to block your point of view. So what I'm going to be showing you here is how to do a 360 tweak after a dart catch on flat so you can end your line. And it's going to look something like this. So that's what it's going to look like. I'll go ahead and demonstrate this in Goofy as well. Alright, so that is what a 360 tweak looks like in regular and Goofy. Let's go ahead and explain how to actually do it now. So I'm going to explain how to do this in regular first, and then I'll explain how to do it in Goofy. So in regular, you're going to do your dart catch. Dart catch? There we go. And then you're going to make sure you push both thumbsticks to the left. So both of your sticks, right and left, both need to be pushed to the left side. And then you're going to tap either your right or your left trigger. And you need to do this after exiting your dart catch. So after you exit the dart catch, make sure both thumbsticks are pushed to the left side. And then while you're pushing both thumbsticks to the left, either tap right or left trigger. Now, if you hold the right or left trigger instead of tapping it, it will kill you. I'll go ahead and demonstrate that here. So that's why it's important to make sure that you tap the trigger instead of holding it. And this is basically a way to just guarantee a quick and easy 360 spin just to end your line. Now I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate this in Goofy, and then I'll explain why it's important to be ending your lines while you do competitive. So here we go, let's go ahead and switch to Goofy here. In Goofy, you're going to make sure you push both thumbsticks to the right side, and then while you push both thumbsticks to the right, tap either your left or your right trigger. So we'll go ahead and demonstrate it. We'll go ahead and demonstrate it here. There we go. It works with either trigger, whichever one is more comfortable for you. And once again, just make sure you don't hold the trigger or it will cause you to bail. Okay, so now why it's important to make sure you're dropping your lines. Let's say you're doing competitive and you just keep your line going without dropping it. I'll go ahead and demonstrate what that would look like for you. As you can see, towards the end, the points I was getting started to get really low. That whole time I only got 4,000. And that's because the more times you repeat the same trick, the less points it's going to give you. So let's say I do a nollie 360 hard flip. Alright, it's going to get me like 450. But let's say I land that in a nose manual and I just keep repeating that same trick. See, I'm just getting less and less and less points every time I do that trick. So making sure that you do a different trick every dart catch, and that after your third trick you're dropping your line, is going to prevent you from running into that issue where you are getting reduced points because you kept your line going for too long. Let's go ahead and pick up where we're at currently with our flat ground competitive, and then I'll show you where you need to be using the 360 tweak. So we're going to get our usual intro here, the dart catch 180 into a fakey nose manual. From this position, we're doing a 360 dart catch into another fakey nose manual, like so. And from here, this is where the 360 tweak is going to come into effect. So from here, we could just do another 360 with a fakey nose manual, but as I just showed you guys, continuing to do that, you're just going to get less and less points, so it's not a good idea to do that. From this position, this is where you want to implement the dart catch with the 360 tweak. So, once again, you're going to do a dart catch. Make sure that you have both your thumbsticks pushed to the left if you're in regular, right side if you're in goofy, and then after you flip out of your dart catch, you're going to tap either trigger to do the 360 tweak. So you'll land back in fakey. And now that you dropped your line, you can go ahead and do all your tricks over again, and their point multiplier will reset. So you'll get your normal points for the tricks you can do all over again, as long as you don't start repeating them. So once you land your 360 tweak, you can go ahead and do any trick, and you'll get full points for it once again. So now, where do you go once you land the 360 tweak? Let's go ahead and show you. So let's just do our normal thing here. Okay, so now you're in this position and you're thinking, okay, well, what do I do from here? Like, where do I go with my competitive? I did the tweak, and now I'm just in fakey. So, from here, the reason I'm holding my stick down like this to stay in fakey is because once you land your 360 tweak and you're put in fakey like this, you're going to want to immediately prep another trick as fast as you can. And once again, you're going to do the 360 rotation into a fakey nose manual after your dart catch. So, let's go ahead and say that we just landed our 360 tweak. Immediately, we're going to prep another trick. Okay, I suck. Hang on. Alright. 360 tweak. Immediately prep another trick. And, this is what happens when you take a break from Skate 3. I tell you what, you just become so washed, but you know what? It's fine. It's funny. I know you're laughing right now. Alright, 360 tweak, prep a dart catch, 360 spin with it, either to the left or right, whichever your preference is, and then land in a fakey nose manual, and you'll start the process all over again. Then from here, you would just continue the cycle. So you would do another 360 dart catch, like so, and then you would drop the line once again, and then just rinse and repeat. And that is why it is called 3 tricking, because you're just repeating the same 3 tricks over and over again for maximum point gain by dropping your line after your 3rd trick each time, so that way your point count resets when you drop the line after your 3rd trick. So, get your running start, and then you're just going to perform this over and over again. Which, obviously I can do it, but like I said, I've always been a trick liner who hasn't focused on competitive, and not only that, but I just completely dropped skate about a month and a half ago, so I'm just, I'm rusty. Okay, so before we move on to any other steps, I wanted to show you this. I used to have people practice this line as a way to help them learn how to 3-trick. Okay, so let's say you're starting out your normal turn at Mega Park. You're going to get 2 pushes, 180 dart catch to that spot at the top there, into a fakey nose manual. Then from there, you're going to 360 dart catch into another fakey nose manual to this section. And then the last step is you're gonna do a 360 tweak after a dart catch right there. So this is just like 3-tricking on flat, except you have more time to prepare each step in advance. And if you're going just straight ahead this way at Mega Park, that is probably one of your more optimal intros for getting points going that way. So I'll just go ahead and demonstrate the whole thing in full speed, just so you guys can see what it should look like. And there we have it. So that is a good way to practice the entire flat ground setup I was just showing you, with a little bit more leniency about the time frame you have to perform it. So now I'm going to be showing you a couple grab tricks you can do that will actually help you enter your 360 spin into a fakey nose manual. They'll make it a little bit faster and a little bit easier. So I'm going to go ahead and show both of these grabs to you. And then from there, we'll move on to some more slightly difficult steps in the process of competitive. Okay, so the first of these grabs I'm going to teach you is a shifty seatbelt. I'm going to go ahead and jump somewhere where there's a lot of airtime so you can see what this trick looks like, and then I'll explain how to do it and use it on flat ground. So I'm just going to jump off here. So that right there is a shifty seatbelt. And you can actually use this on flat ground to help speed up your 360 rotation into a fakey nose manual. So let's go ahead and explain how to do this. If you're in regular, you're going to hold your right thumbstick. Let me go ahead and turn the trick analyzer on for this. You're basically going to hold your right thumbstick up, and then you're going to grab with your left trigger, and then you're going to do this motion. So, right thumbstick up first. You need to make sure you do this first. Let's say you press left trigger first, and then you do your right thumbstick up. You're going to do a melon. So a melon's just going to kill you. That's why you need to make sure you hold the right thumbstick up first. Then grab with left trigger, and then do this motion with your right stick to basically turn it into a shifty seatbelt. So you're going to do that while you spin to the left, and it'll be basically a faster version of the 360 rotation I taught you guys earlier. So let me go ahead and demonstrate it. We're going to get into our starting position here. Now from here, I'm going to do a dart catch while I spin to the left, and then after exiting the dart catch, I'm going to hold my right thumbstick up, grab with left trigger, and then do this motion, and pretty much the same thing. Make sure you have your thumbstick positioned in like the center of that top left slice of the pie there. Alright, so let's go ahead and put all of that into motion here. And I'll even go into the replay editor so I can show it to you in slow motion. Alright, here we are in the replay editor. I slowed down the section where I used the shifty seatbelt to help me do the 360 into another fakey nose manual. And I'll go ahead and play that for you guys now so you can see what it looks like slowed down. There it was. You could see it at the end there, the shifty seatbelt. And I see people who do the shifty seatbelt literally every single time they go to land a fakey nose manual. So if this works for you, then honestly feel free to use it as much as you would like. However, this has never worked out great for me with the shifty seatbelt. I mean, it did when I first started learning, but eventually I kind of developed my own style of competitive, which I can't really do it anymore, but it used to be my own style. And I preferred using a different grab trick to enter my fakey nose manual, so I'll go ahead and show you that one. Oh wait, I almost forgot to show the shifty seatbelt in Goofy. Don't worry, don't worry. Calm down. I'll show it in Goofy. So Goofy. Alright, so let's say you're skating Goofy. You're going to hold your right thumbstick up first, then you're going to tap right trigger. And then while you hold right trigger, you're going to do this thumbstick motion. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate that in the air, and then I'll demonstrate it on flat ground for Goofy. There we go. So that's what a shifty seatbelt will look like in Goofy. And now I will use it in some flat ground competitive for Goofy, and then I'll move on to showing you guys the other grab trick that I like to use. Okay. Alright, here we are in the replay editor. I'm going to go ahead and show you what the shifty seatbelt in Goofy looks like in slow motion. And then after this, we'll go ahead and move on to the other grab trick you can use for easy 360 rotations into fakey nose manuals. There it was. It definitely helps speed up the whole process, and it helps make up for just the human error of doing it without a grab. I'm sure you noticed when I was demonstrating things, when I would 360 spin into a fakey nose manual, it would just not go all the way, and I would lose speed, or it would land and just drop the line. You know, there's definitely human error to doing it without a grab, so it can help out a lot doing the shifty seatbelt or the one I'm about to show you. So this next one is exactly the same as the shifty seatbelt, but you're going to use the opposite trigger. So for example, in regular for the shifty seatbelt, right stick up and then left trigger. Well, for this one, you're going to use right trigger. So once again, if you're spinning to the left side, you're going to, do your trick. Then afterwards, you're going to hold right stick up, grab with right trigger, and you're going to do this thumbstick motion. Now, instead of a shifty seatbelt, this is actually going to be a shifty tail grab. So imagine you're doing a tail walk. It's just like a tail walk, except you don't use the B button. So let's go ahead and demonstrate this. There we have it, shifty tail grab. And I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate how to do this in Goofy as well before I show it on flat ground. So Goofy, right stick up, and then while you hold right stick up, you're going to use left trigger, and you're going to do that motion if you're spinning to the right, or this motion if you're spinning to the left. Will I land this? Ah, no! That would have been cool if I could have landed that. Okay. So let's go ahead and demonstrate the shifty tail grab with the airtime for Goofy. Once again, right stick up first, and then hold left trigger. Okay, Now we're going to go ahead and demonstrate this in a competitive line on flat ground. I'll demonstrate it in regular first, and then I'll show it in slow-mo, and then afterwards I'll switch to goofy and demonstrate it there. Alright, here we are in the replay editor. Once again, I've slowed it down for you. I'll go ahead and show where I use the shifty tail grab for the enhanced 360 rotation into a fakey nose manual. There you are. In my personal opinion, I liked using the shifty tail grab just because it felt a lot smoother to me. It felt like I could basically keep my speed better with it. It felt cleaner, and it actually made it easier to do one of the following steps I'm going to show you after demonstrating this in Goofy. With that said, let's actually switch to Goofy here, and I'll demonstrate the shifty tail grab in a competitive line. Alright, here we are. Once again, I've slowed it down for your viewing pleasure. Let's go ahead and watch that back in slow-mo for you. Yep, that just looks so clean. So yeah, those are the grab tricks that are gonna help you, basically perform your 360 rotations into a fakey nose manual just a lot smoother. Once again, I personally preferred the shifty tail grab, but it's entirely up to you if you want to use either the shifty seatbelt or the shifty tail grab. Whatever's comfortable for you. And then once again, you can spin either direction in either stance. Either one will work. So if you're in regular but you want to spin to the right side instead of the left, you can do that as well. And I guess now let's go ahead and get into some of the ways that you can help to keep your speed when you're doing flat ground competitive. Okay, so you're fully aware of how to 3-trick now, but you're gonna run into an issue where no matter how good you are at these steps, you're gonna be losing your momentum. And there's a couple ways around this. I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate both to you. However, these are pretty advanced. These are both very difficult steps. They're gonna be very hard to learn, so be patient with these. You're not gonna get them right away, and it's probably gonna take a lot of practice. Alright, so the first way I'm going to show you on how you can keep your momentum while 3-tricking is going to be ghost reverting on your second trick. So I'm going to show you what a ghost revert is, and then I'm going to explain how to use it and how it's going to help you. Alright, there we go. We just did one. I'm going to make sure I slow that down and show it to you in the replay so you can basically see what's happening. Alright, so here we are at the start of our little competitive line we did there, where I did a ghost revert on my second trick. I slowed it down for you, and I'm basically going to walk you through what's going on when the ghost revert happens. So here we are. We did our little intro, and here's the ghost revert. So I'm pretty sure you saw what happened. I land in a fakey nose manual and immediately do a revert. And then after I do the revert, I very quickly do another nollie dart catch. I'll go ahead and play that for you one more time here. Let me rewind a little bit. So watch for the revert. Yep, you can see there. I land in my fakey nose manual, and then I immediately do a revert, followed by a nollie dart catch. So, that is what a ghost revert is. So, when you land your first fakey nose manual, before performing your second dart catch in your 3-trick sequence, so this takes place after your first dart catch, and when you land your fakey nose manual before performing your second dart catch, that's when you need to do the ghost revert. So your ghost revert is as soon as you land in your first fakey nose manual. You're going to do a revert in the direction you're gonna be spinning. So if you're gonna spin to the left with your trick, you want to do a revert to the left. So you land in a nose manual. As soon as you land, revert, game. There we go, revert. And then as soon as you start to revert, do the dart catch you were gonna do with your 360 rotation into another fakey nose manual. And then after that, you'll drop the line. One way you can go about doing this smoother is you can actually start to do the revert mid-air right before you land your nose manual, and it'll speed up the process. It'll actually make it faster. So it's almost like you're cueing the revert. And I'll go ahead and try to demonstrate that here. There we go. So I do my dart catch. Hang on. Alright, do my dart catch, and then in the air, right before I landed my nose manual, I started to do the revert to the left, and it basically cued the revert, so it happened almost instantaneously as I landed. So I'll go ahead and replay that one more time in normal speed here, so you can see just how quickly I did that revert after landing my fakey nose manual. It's instantaneous. Like, as soon as I land the nose manual, I'm doing the revert, and then as soon as you start to revert, that's when you want to do your next trick in the sequence. And you're going to do that revert in each sequence before you do your second trick. And then how quickly you can do your second trick after that revert is going to determine how well you keep your momentum. So that's essentially what ghost reverting is. You're doing a revert, but you're doing a trick so fast after the revert, it essentially cancels it, and that causes the game to bug out and lets you keep your momentum. If you get good enough at ghost reverting, it basically won't matter how long you're on flat. You'll be able to keep up your momentum pretty much indefinitely. Of course, there is human error, obviously, so how long you can keep your momentum for, all in all, is just going to be about how well you can perform a ghost revert, and just keep consistently doing that on your right before your second trick each sequence. When I was actually good at competitive and I didn't abandon it for trick lining and take breaks from this game, I pretty much never had to get off my board, except for when oh, cloud gaming lag. Are we caught up? Okay, we're caught up. So I would turn around at that road up there, and then make my way all the way back to the beginning here, and then I would have to get off my board. Just because I was able to keep my momentum so well with ghost reverting, I never had to get off my board until I actually came to this point here during my competitive. So yeah, let's say you're going to the right side. Same thing, you would just do a revert to the right before landing, like, you could start to preemptively do it right before you land in your fakey nose manual. The ghost revert works either direction, so whichever one's preferable to you, that's what you want to practice. So now, let's go ahead and get into the last tip I have for you guys on keeping your momentum when when doing flat ground competitive. Alright, so the last thing I'm going to show you is, instead of ghost reverting on your second trick in the sequence, you can pop your second trick in the sequence instead. And this is where I got to with competitive when I was, I guess, in my prime with flat ground, you could say. The best I ever got was pretty much 3 tricking with a pop on my second trick in the sequence, because it's slightly faster than ghost reverting your second trick. And it's what I was using when I hit my PBs at Mega Park. So I would consider this the ultimate form of 3 tricking, is when you use a pop on your second trick in the sequence instead of a ghost revert. It is definitely going to be a little bit more difficult, I believe. So let's go ahead and get into that, and I will show you guys how to do it. Okay, so what exactly is a pop? Well, a pop is basically when you do a 360 rotation into a fakey nose manual, and as soon as you land in that fakey nose manual, you're doing another trick. And if you do a flip trick fast enough as you land in that 360 nose manual, it'll actually maintain your rotation just as well as ghost reverting would. Or not rotation, momentum. It'll maintain your momentum just as easily as you could with ghost reverting. And it's slightly faster. A big thing for popping, though, is making sure that you don't tap out of your dart catch, because you will actually lose your momentum popping if you tap RB out of your dart catch. So when you're exiting your dart catch and you're getting ready to pop your next trick, you want to flick your stick out of that dart catch into the 360 fakey nose manual to actually maintain your momentum with popping. So I'm going to go ahead and try to attempt this for you guys. I'm not even feeling confident in the fact of being able to do this, since I just gave up on this game and haven't played in so long, but I'm pretty sure if I sit here long enough, I'll be able to hit 3 trick popping my second trick in the sequence. So wish me luck. I'll try my best to demonstrate it for you, and then I will show it to you in the slow-mo camera. Okay, so I did thankfully manage to hit a 3 trick, popping my second trick in the sequence. I can't even tell you how alien this feels to me now, trying to do this after the break I took, and also just doing nothing but trick lining for so long now. This feels so bad on my fingers, but I got it. So I'm going to go ahead and play it in normal speed, and then I will play it in slow motion for you guys. Okay, so I'm sure you saw how quickly I did the second trick in my sequence there. I'll play it one more time at normal speed. Let me go ahead and rewind here. So one more time, we'll watch it again at normal speed, and then we will slow it down so I can explain what's happening. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and slow down this replay, and I'll explain what's going on here. Okay, so here we are. I slowed down the footage. So once again, we are in our starting position here. So I am using my right thumbstick to flick out of my dart catch, and then mid-air, after the flick out, I do the thumbstick motion where I'm ending it basically in the top right section of that pie, you know, with the 4 slices. So I flick out of the dart catch using the right stick, and I make sure I flick it out towards that top right section of the pie. So that way, after the flick out, I can simply do just a quick little movement to position my stick where I want it to be to land in that fakey nose manual. And then as soon as I land, I'm tricking. So it's like the exact moment your wheels touch the ground in that fakey nose manual, you're doing your flip trick. So I don't believe you want to do grab tricks here. So let's say you flick out of your first dart catch and you're getting ready to land in your 360 fakey nose manual. You do not want to do the shifty tail grab or the shifty seatbelt if you're attempting to pop your second trick, because it will actually cause you to lose momentum. So the whole point in popping your second trick here is to maintain your momentum, because it's actually superior to ghost reverting, in my opinion. So by doing a shifty seatbelt or shifty tail grab to help ease your way into that 360 rotation here is actually counterproductive. So like I said, you want to flick out of your dart catch in the desired direction you're spinning. So if you're going to spin to the left, you want to flick out of your dart catch with your thumbstick ending up in the top left. That way you can do just a minor thumbstick movement to end your rotation in the middle of the slice of pie where you want it to be. So that way you will land in your fakey nose manual, and then as soon as you land fakey, you're immediately doing the second trick in your sequence. Like as soon as your wheels hit the ground, you're doing that second trick. So let's go ahead and watch that in slow motion. Alright, first trick, flicking out to the top right, ending it in the middle of that top right slice of pie, and then immediately doing my second trick. Let's go ahead and watch that back one more time. Once again, flicking out, top right slice of pie, immediate second trick in the sequence. Now, the thing with popping is you have to go the opposite direction after your pop. So, let me fix this here. Alright, here we are back at the beginning. So, you saw how I spun to the right side when I was entering the 360 nose manual for my pop. I had to go left. Since I popped on the right side, I have to spin to the left for my next nose manual. Because trying to spin... Oh, that was my chair. I have a really squeaky chair, and my headphones, they're a piece of garbage. I'm actually planning to buy new ones next paycheck, so there's not as much background noise in these recordings. Where was I? But yeah, right here I'm spinning to the right side, and then I land in fakey and do the trick on the right side, so I have to spin to the left after that. That's just the way popping works. If I landed right side and then I tried to spin right side again after my pop, it's going to be really awkward. It's going to be like more difficult than spinning to the left, and it's probably going to make you lose momentum. So Same can be said if you popped on the left side, you would want to spin to the right after that. So that is pretty much it for popping. You could pop the third trick in the sequence as well before dropping your line, if you're good enough at it. That would also be faster than just doing a normal trick there, and it would keep your momentum better. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about popping. I guess I'll just play the clip for you one more time in slow motion so you can see just what the popping looks like again, and we'll move on from there. Yep. Popping is so satisfying. So that's basically an introduction to what popping is. There are forms of competitive play much better than 3-tricking that revolve around popping, and I can't do them. I practiced them in the past, one of them being 5 popping, the other one being infinite popping. I tried my hand at both of those at some point and started to make progress towards them, but I've just never had friend groups on this game that are interested enough to play it with me, and I've always just kinda lost interest in this game and taken breaks. I remember at one point I took a break from this game for a year because I was just so irritated and so bored with it. So yeah, I never committed to learning it for a long enough period of time to actually be consistent enough with it to use it and get high scores with it. The only thing I was ever good enough to actually get high scores with was 3-tricking, popping my second trick in the sequence like I just demonstrated to you guys. I don't really know if there's anything else I want to say about competitive. Yeah, the ghost reverting, that is useful for more than just keeping your momentum. So let's say, let me resume career here. Let's say you were going to do an online spot battle at a really, really weird spot. Like, let's say library exit here. Okay, so at a spot like this, if you want to get a high score, you actually have to ghost revert. So yeah, I would start it up, but you know, no one to play with. So normally, it's like, oh yeah, it shows an arrow on this ledge, it's like, hey, do a grind. And if you land in a nose manual at a spot like this, it's immediately going to reset your line, and you're not going to be able to continue your line going down. So you want to ghost revert every single time you land in a fakey nose manual to be able to keep your line going at spots like this. Otherwise, you're going to land in a nose manual, it'll reset your line back to 0 points, and you're just not going to be able to get any kind of score here. So that would be the final use of ghost reverting, aside from maintaining your momentum. And I think that is pretty much it for the tutorial. But yeah, thanks for taking the time to check out the video. Hopefully your practice in Skate 3 competitive goes well. I have a lot of other skate tutorials if you're interested in those. They mostly revolve around trick lining, playing with style. I did one on foot planting as well. That was like my new favorite thing before I ended up putting down this game. So if any of that interests you, go check it out. I'm sure you'll enjoy it if you enjoyed this video. I also do a bunch of challenge runs in video games. Like I have been doing a Fallout New Vegas challenge run. I do like Tarkov challenge runs with a strat roulette with my friends. That's pretty fun. So yeah, lots of interesting stuff for you to check out if you had a good time. Hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.